All right, greetings. This is Robert Foertsch with the Truth Network, and I wanted to expose the truth I'm finding out about and invite your feedback. You can send me a link or give me a call if you think I missed something or got it wrong, or you just want to say hi. That'd be fine too. So this is a sea level liquid mirror, and we have in our memory we have all the imagery. We have imagery of memories. It's like an alternate reality of sorts. Sometimes when people age, they live in the past, so to speak. Imagine when they were younger. It happens to all. Well, I should say I experienced that. I remember my parents, and I remember wonderful dreams, not just dreams, but wonderful memories of quality time spent with family. What I wanted to highlight too is that the Truth Network, as I talk about, is a collaborative effort. People working together to expose the truth, and in some cases, in a veiled sort of way, in the predictive programming of the movies, and in the news and documentaries, and supposed scientific information sometimes is false information. It's not true. And there is direct brain-computer interface technology linking humanity to quantum supercomputers. Technology has been deployed in the food, water, air, recreational substances, and electronics have been involved in tethering people to this cybernetic collective. Good morning. And it's very fascinating to me. And there's tragedy all around us. I've got a pretty long history of pain and joy. Many of us do. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just zoom in a little bit. Like, for example, the wheelchair for the beach. That'd be a senior in the chair. And then the family there. People reflect on their lives, past, present, future, hopes, dreams, fears, regrets. I include myself in that. I'm very reflective on reality. What's it been like? And then what can we do about it? So in the Twilight Zone by Rod Serling, I've got an interview with him talking about how he developed that show, and it's a very in-depth interview. You might find it interesting. And the Twilight Zone was very popular. It popularized alternative possibilities, what could happen, what might happen. And then, as a caveat to all that, we're told what did happen, as in history, and then come to find out they've been lying. Who are they? Well, the ones that control the narrative, the official narrative. And then there are those of us that are saying, hey, they're lying. And I ain't buying. So I've got truth tellers and deceivers alike in this library exposing the truth. I'm going to pan this around. I wanted to highlight the shadowing in the clouds, in the sky. So about 21 years ago this time, I nearly died of a near fatal overdose. While on pharmaceutical management for bipolar, I took a fatal dose of Tylenol gel caps, Tylenol PM, about a bottle and a half, like about 150. We would buy in bulk, so they were big bottles, and not many people survived that method. I went to sleep in a room I expected to be found in. Now that was in 2005. Fast forward to 2014, and I was struggling. I was struggling with the flesh, and I didn't know why. And then I found out that's all I had. I had a blend of pharmaceuticals, once again for bipolar, and marijuana. And I'm glad to be free from all of that. So I've been off of psychological meds and recreational intoxicants for more than a dozen years ago, or a dozen years. And in 2014, in the fall, I believe it was, Robin Williams apparently died of suicide. I say apparently because I don't know for sure. That's the story, and I know they lie about a lot. Public figures die. Hayden Panettiere, what a tragedy. What a beautiful person, and a challenging history that she shared. And I believe the world is a better place because of her. And if you would like to explore the research library I've compiled, it is filled with people telling and exposing the truth. So there's a lot of possibilities of what could happen to me. I've made it very intentional to reach out to the power structure of the world. And I know some would say, that I've got some kind of messiah complex or delusions of grandeur. They love to use that one on people that see what's really going on. They want to drug us into oblivion, so we're irrelevant. Well, I just wanted people to make an informed choices based on truth, based on reality, not the official deceptive narrative. Now, the official narrative isn't always deceptive. It is quite often, though. I left some messages with a friend this morning early, like what could happen to me? Could where I'm living be all my stuff be removed and men in black show up? Or that would be one scenario. They probably wouldn't want it to look like that, but at any time people could come from the intelligence agencies and say, hey, we believe you're a national security threat, and you're going to have to come with us. Or another scenario, they could make it look like to my neighbors, oh, Robert is in a witness protection plan. You can look at enemy of the state or conspiracy theory and see what Hollywood does with people that stumble across some inconvenient truth for the system. So for a long time, I've been questioning reality, and not only what I believe, I want to know, is what I believe actually true, or is it something else? And I found out I was believing a lot of something else. So like I was saying, they could have a moving vehicle pull up to my address and load everything up and clear me out. And neighbors could say, yeah, or I should say that who's ever there could say, yeah, Robert decided to move back wherever, or he's in a witness protection plan and blah, blah, blah. It could happen just like that. In hours. I've been involved in moving people with a large truck, moving our family all around from Wisconsin to here and back, which is one of the reasons why I got on where I was diagnosed with bipolar. And many of the people I found later in treatment centers and AA and NA meetings, if they've got a chemical dependency, quite often there's a diagnosis that goes along with that, like bipolar, or there's a many potential diagnoses. And that is a system of control. When people hear things that don't agree with what they believe to be true, it's easy for them to look at that individual like, oh yeah, they've got a history of mental illness, substance abuse, and they're a danger to themselves or somebody else. Well, I'm just relentless about exploring reality to find the truth and share the content to let others know. So I would be dangerous to a system of control that utilizes deception to control the masses, like the mass formation psychosis that humanity was going through starting, well, maybe before 2020, but that's when it really took hold. So it's the 20th, Hayden's birthday. She would be 37 today. Tragic. And I've got different documentaries on her life and movies that she's in. And there's some mystery with what happened with her. And I believe there's mysteries around Jeffrey Epstein, JFK, what happened, what actually occurred on 9/11 of 2001. We're coming up on the anniversary of that. So they lied about the moon landing. I've got all kinds of documentation about that. Documentaries like Everything is a Rich Man's Trick, or From Freedom to Fascism. You can see it. I didn't have the life experience to create all these documentaries, and it's happening so fast now, and it can be auto-generated. Is there another avatar around that looks like me? Could be. Could be. I've been told by people they know somebody like me, even celebrities similar to me. Charlie Sheen and Tom Cruise were two of them at different points in our lives. Similar ages. So with deep fake and cinematography, some of which can happen right in front of us, like people wearing a mask, actually, like makeup, and then metaphorically, like they're not who they present themselves to be. So another variation of this with brain-computer interface, or BCI, and transcranial neuromodulation. It's terminology that's used in mind control, neuroscience, MK Ultra, and social engineering, and more. So if that sounds weird, it is. It is weird. Oh, so there's the sun right now. I can see the little sliver of it. School's back in session, so there's not as many people out here. Let's zoom in on that. There we are. Oh, he's trying to get bait there. Those little holes in the beach with water coming out of them, There's a little creature in some of those. They suck them out. So that's pretty. I want to elaborate on the stationary level Earth. We don't live on a spinning globe rotating in easterly direction at over 1,000 miles an hour, and all the other contradictory orbits and movements that we can't feel. The reason we can't feel them is they're not happening. The Earth is stationary and level, and there's a firmament above us, like a big terrarium. So you can see me at the Flat Earth International conferences. How about that? Millions of times. So the power structure of the world, especially the billionaires with their rocket programs, they, I'm sure, would have seen those videos because they were the most viewed videos related to the flat Earth or biblical cosmology or geocentric versus heliocentric. So there's all kinds of beliefs and religions that are built around truth and deception with a mixture of both to bamboozle, to deceive. How about that? Isn't that special? So I believe it's only by God's grace that anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. What that means is when the Almighty is large and in charge. He's sovereign. And so he is in control of where and when we would be born and where and when we would be born again. So there's very unbiblical views about that, even within the apostate churchianity. Good morning. And I wanted to let you know about that because then there's also the false eschatology. That's the end times in the Left Behind series and the late great Planet Earth, where we're shown people leaving their eyeglasses, briefcases, and underwear on trains, planes, and automobiles. It's ridiculous. So there was the end of the age in 70 AD, Luke 21, Matthew 24, and Mark 13. You can read about it. So we believe that, I believe, many prophecies have been fulfilled in the life of Christ, Jesus Christ, also known as Yeshua, Yahweh, the living word, the living water, the great I am, the way, the truth, and the life. He knows the end from the beginning, and I want to live out my purpose to do what I was created to do. That is why I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. That's a powerful reality. So as I go along with this, I'm going to do what I can to expose this truth to everybody I can. Not only the elected and non-elected power structure of the world, the Illuminati, the shadow government, the secret societies, and all of that, all the false religions, the kingdom of the cults. You can learn about that if you care to. What really happened to Charlie Kirk? What really happened with Turning Point USA? And why are God's chosen people apparently committing genocide all over the world? Well, now I've just started to mention things that may get the video taken down, may get my channel taken down, may get me taken down. Oh well, might be a splinter in some of your mind, what I've been talking about over the years. Not just today, but for a lifetime. And more recently, when I was born of the Spirit, I just wanted people to know that, yeah, you can be spreading Jesus all over what you do, like I did, and be spiritually deader than a hammer and not know it. Modern churchianity does not even leave room for that as a possibility. It doesn't work well with get them in and get them volunteering and giving money to pay for the operating expenses for the buildings, the salaries, the resources. And I know that there's expenses with ministries. And I know there's a whole travel show of deceivers, snake oil salesmen, and charlatans raising money for promoting false eschatology, soteriology, all manner of biblical deception. What I mean is they're lying about a lot. And exposing that is very unpopular. Remember how Donald Trump campaigned on bringing peace? Oh yeah, wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of any of his peace program. Not looking good for a lot of people that have been terminated, genocided because of the Department of War and the collapsing of the Western world. The apparent social experiment of the United States. We're not the country, we're very different than the country I grew up in. I knew somewhat about left and right, and even more about right and wrong. There's a lot that's wrong with the world that we live in. And I'm doing what I can to expose all that so people can know. That's really unpopular with people that want to embrace their comfortable deception. I've learned and had to admit that a lot of what I had believed was not true. And then to move on from that and say, okay, well then what is the truth? And that's why I invite people to send me feedback. You could put it in a comment. You could send me a link. I don't get into long, elaborate chatting back and forth. It's just not profitable. Largely, people believe what they want to believe, including myself. It's just that the Almighty changed what I want to believe to be passionately pursuing the truth rather than the comfortable lies that are so popular. So the tide is going out now for a couple hours or so, about. So the large print gives and the small print takes away. A lot of times that's the way it works in contracts and advertisements. Listen to the advertisements and what they talk about for pharmaceutical treatments, like what the potential side effects are, or the direct effects. Safe and effective from whose perspective? People that want to be healthier, or people that want to reduce the population of the world and silence those that see their grand illusion and want to expose it, like me. It's actually happening. I'm actually doing it with the help of others. One of my friends said, well, what you going to do about it? I'm doing it. Day in, day out, when I'm not out here or interacting with people in the face-to-face world, I'm online, reviewing and adding content, and then leaving comments largely behind. You might find them in my playlist where I say, deployed worldwide through the Truth Network, thank you. And the prayer sign and the and the hands and the heart. And if you see where most of the time it's an edited comment, after I post the comment, quite often I'll go back and see if they'll let me put a period on it. So most of them will have a period on there. I do that to see if they've allowed the comment to be there. Now, if the comment isn't there, it could be the channel owner, manager, artificial intelligence, the intelligence agencies. Much of the corporate structure of the world was created with government money and intelligence agencies like the internet, DARPA, ARPANET. You can look at the history of the development of so-called artificial intelligence and quantum supercomputers and all those kinds of very polarizing topics. So could they delete my presence online? Absolutely. If the Almighty allows it. That little caveat is very big. It's a big little word, if. So the Almighty is still in charge, large and in charge. So there's not only what actually happened historically in the nature of our reality, then there is a kaleidoscope of conspiracy theories to confuse the masses and hide the reality of who the actual conspirators are and how they accomplish what they do. They're really good at it. It's a grand illusion. It's the matrix of control. So the hashtag Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars has many, many thousands of results across multiple platforms. And there's a digital book burning and a manipulation of humanity. You can see the interview with Man in America and one of the founders of Wikipedia. And then you can learn more about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and Edward Snowden. Have I mentioned enough names in this one to create some curiosity with the alphabet agencies? Absolutely. Yeah, that's okay. A lot of them are bound by non-disclosure agreements where they can't really talk about the kinds of things that are in my library because they'll either lose their retirement or their benefits or their lives. I don't have any non-disclosure agreements. I've got a full disclosure agreement with the Almighty. He protects and directs me, and I believe wants me to know and expose the truth about everything that he wants me to find out about and share with people. So I work with everything that I can, including the entire communication system of the world, the internet, the devices that connect to it, the devices you bought and are perhaps watching or listening to this recording on, the movies, the videos, the magazines, the documentaries, all of it, the whole thing. So there you go. I appreciate your public and private encouragement. Feel free to reach out anytime you like. This is Robert Foertsch with the Truth Network. Thank you so much.